Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to explore Grade 10, Chapter 10, titled Earth and Environment, from the National Foundation English textbook. We'll read through the complete text and go over all the important questions and answers. This chapter is found on pages 125 to 128 of your book, so make sure you have textbook ready. Okay, so now let's begin with the reading of the text.
Earth and environment. The diversity of life on Earth is essential to the health of our planet and to our well-being as human beings. But nature is under pressure as never before. Our needs for food, water, and land, and our demands for energy is destroying habitats, polluting our air and water, and driving species of animals and plants to extinction. We are now losing biodiversity up to 1,000 times faster than it was disappearing 100 years ago. We are in a bottleneck of overpopulation and wasteful consumption that could push half of Earth's species to extinction in this century. E.O. Wilson. More people need more space. Damaging human activity continues to encroach on natural environments, thereby destroying the habitats of countless species. As our numbers rise, cities, infrastructure, and agricultural land are growing and merging with each other, fragmenting the remaining habitat and leaving isolated islands of natural populations of plants and animals that are too small to survive. Humankind's relentless consumption of resources such as timber, oil, and minerals is continuing to destroy natural habitats around the globe. We are also pushing up pressure on populations of wild species by a large-scale industrial fishing in our oceans. Our planet is on edge of a climate crisis due to our endless production of greenhouse gases including carbon dioxide, which has caused a 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer world than existed at the start of the century. We are already seeing species decline due to global temperature increase. Every half of a degree of warming has a huge knock-on effect on ecosystems, with mobile species running out of areas to migrate to, and heat-sensitive organisms like corals undergoing massive die-offs. As population increases, so does waste from households, agriculture, and industry. This waste is polluting land and oceans. Our sea life is now threatened by marine plastic debris, which has been found in hundreds of species, from sea turtles to whales. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation estimates that by 2050, the oceans may contain more plastic than fish. In addition to the effects of humans, noise, light, and chemical pollution all damage the health of wildlife. Though we often think about human-induced climate change as something that will happen in the future, it is already underway. The average global temperature has already increased by about 1.1 degrees Fahrenheit from 1901 to 2020, and it is continuing to rise. Climate change is causing heat waves, floods, and droughts. More intense weather patterns like that and flooding and much more. This has weakened human and value water, energy, transportation, wildlife, agriculture, ecosystems, and human health, all experiencing the effects of a changing climate. The impacts of climate change on different sectors of society are widespread. Drought can harm food production and human health. Flooding can damage to infrastructure and ecosystems and infrastructure. Human health issues can increase mortality, impact food availability, and limit workers' productivity. Climate change impacts are seen throughout every aspect of the world we live in. Long-standing socio-economic inequities can make underserved groups, who often have the highest exposure to hazards and the fewest resources to respond, more vulnerable. No doubt international agreements like Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement are in place at the policy level, but these are of a medium and long-term nature and may take up to 50 years to be fully implemented for real effect. Even if these are made mandatory for all the countries, the ozone layer may take another 50 years to repair itself. The situation is quite alarming and terrifying for the worst affected country like Pakistan. Pakistan is one of the most vulnerable countries affected by climate change, and has been ranked among the top 10 on German Watch Institute. Pakistan highly depends on its climate-sensitive land, not only providing employment, but also a source of income through export of agricultural products. The being so, a natural disaster may cause hardship for the country. Climate change and natural disasters, such as floods, pose potential risks of epidemic due to vector-borne diseases like malaria or cholera, which would reduce the efficiency of the people. Financial and health barriers being created due to the loss of employment and disease may lead to an economic recession of its own in a country that already has a struggling economy. The 2022 flood in Pakistan was a grim illustration of a humanitarian crisis on a massive scale. Tens of towns, critical infrastructure, homes, and crops were swept away. Escalating temperatures are causing environmental degradation, natural disasters, extreme weather events, food and water insecurity, as well as economic disruptions. It is important to understand the complex relationship with ecology. Historically, societies used to be dependent on the environment for our survival. However, the modern age has created a false sense of control humans have over the environment, and that makes us negligent of caring for it. This can only be achieved through a national effort in line with global sustainability goals. Pakistan needs to contribute its share to the global fight against the rapidly worsening climate change if it is to achieve progress in these two processes and at least stop the worsening of the situation in the years to come. This calls for immediate but just policy level as well as behavioral change at the individual, family, village, town, city, and country scale. We do not have the luxury to wait, and the time to do that is now. And delay will be regrettable. There are many initiatives that can be undertaken by the government and private citizens. Change begins at home, goes the popular quote. There are many ways individuals can help reduce the environmental impact, writes NASA. People are encouraged to recycle, shop less and shop smart, use efficient appliances. Upgrade your homes to be more energy efficient. Use electronics for shorter durations. Consider walking or public transport instead of private vehicles. Teach others, especially the young, about the dangers of climate change and how to reduce waste. Electronic waste and plastic pollution are contributing to the harm done to the planet. To protect our climate, buy fewer things, shop second-hand, repair what we can, and recycle. Government can also play its part in combating climate change. The government can take practical and concrete steps like construction of large and small dams, dikes to divert and store flood water, raising heights of embankments and bridges for roads, railways, or even their realignments, improvement of cross-drainage structures, in most of the worst clearly identified vulnerable areas by aerial and ground surveys, and shifting of villages to higher ground. The dependence of humans on the ecosystems has already been understood, and our actions in the future will bear testimony to whether or not we did justice to this responsibility when we could.
We'll begin with the comprehension questions. Question 1. Our planet is on the verge of a climate crisis. Do you agree? Answer: yes, I agree. The Earth is facing serious climate problems. Global temperatures are rising, which leads to heat waves, floods, and droughts. Human activities like pollution, deforestation, and use of natural resources are badly harming nature. If we don't take action now, the damage may become permanent. Question 2. Does climate change only refer to an increase in temperature? Explain. Answer: no. Climate change is not just about rising temperatures. It also includes floods, droughts, stronger storms, and unpredictable changes in seasons. It affects our food supply, water, health, and even wildlife. Poor communities are often hit the hardest, and climate change can lead to job losses, illness, and destruction of homes and farmland. Okay, so now let's continue with the rest of the questions in the next section. Now let's continue with the next two comprehension questions from page 128. Question 3. What are the estimations of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation for 2050? Answer. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation warns that by the year 2050, there could be more plastic in the oceans than fish. Right now, marine plastic is already harming animals like turtles and whales. This shows how serious plastic pollution has become, and how urgently we need to reduce plastic waste. Question 4. Explain how human activities are destroying the habitat of various species. Answer. Humans are damaging natural habitats by building cities, roads, and farms. They cut down forests, land, and extract natural resources like oil and wood. This breaks up animal homes into small spaces that are too small for survival. Pollution and overfishing also make it harder for many species to live and thrive in nature. Okay, so now let's move on to the final questions from this section. And now, let's move to the last question of this section. Question 5. Which initiatives can be taken to stop the damaging effects of climate change? Answer. To reduce the harmful effects of climate change, we must take action on different levels. Here are some important steps. People should recycle, save electricity, and use energy-efficient appliances. Governments can build dams and proper water storage systems to control flood damage. Communities in high-risk areas should be relocated to safer, higher ground. Public transport and walking should be encouraged instead of using private vehicles. Most importantly, we all must raise awareness, educate others, and work to reduce plastic and electronic waste. These small efforts, when done together, can make a big difference. Okay, so that completes the comprehension questions. And that's a wrap. 10 words, 10 deeper meanings. Hope this helps you use them more confidently in your writing or conversations. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more word power. See you in the next one.